Alright, hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a video game review of a very good PlayStation 2 game that is probably my favorite PlayStation 2 game of all time. Um, and I decided to do this review. I was in the gaming forum, I'll leave the link to the forum in the description. But I was in this gaming forum, and this guy asked what your top 10 PS2 games were, and while writing it, it just really made me uh, remember how much I actually like this game, and it really made me want to do a review of it. So, yeah. Um, um, the game I'm going to be doing a review of today is going to be Gundam Encounters in Space for the PlayStation 2. And if you noticed, on all my games in my collection, I usually keep the stickers on them because I like the fact, well, it reminds me where I got it from, for the most part. So that's why the stickers are all on the games, if they have any on there. But yeah. Alright, so first thing is the box art. You have your this is the Gundam from I think it might be Victory. I'm not quite sure. This is this is from Zeta. I believe this is from Zeta or ZZ, one of the two. And then on the back you have my favorite, which is the Gelgoog. These are my favorite right here. They're so awesome. And this game right here is by far my favorite game for the PlayStation 2, hands down. The reason for this is the fact that there is so much content in this game that it's amazing. And if you're a big Gundam fan, this game is perfect because this game has so much. It's so much like the actual original series. It's so close to it that you feel the same things that you would if you were to watch it. So I mean, it's very good. I actually recommend watching the actual show first, but if you're not into anime, you can it's still a great game, even if you're not into anime. Okay, so like I said, this is the box art. It's pretty cool. Got a lot of mobile suits on there. It says it has 70 plus units, which is true, by the way. I've unlocked all the units. There's so many to play as. And then the inside, you have your game disc right here. It's a very cool game disc. It's just basically, I think it's supposed to look like a blueprint of the Gundam on the cover. And then you have your instruction manual here. Plenty of stuff in it. Teach you how to play the game. And one thing about this game that is kind of weird is, let me see if I can open up the page. I think it's this one. Hold on one second, let me look at the table of contents where okay, yeah, well, it's kind of hard to read, but these are the controls. I don't know why they didn't label them up here, but I'll just point out. Okay, so the controls are a little bit weird. You have your R1 button, which is to go up. R2 button is to go down, and then left and right is to go left and right. So it's let me look. It's been a while since I played this again. No, I was right. Yeah. In left and right is like left and right. It's so weird. I mean, but you get used to it, but it's kind of weird at first. Let's see. Then you have your square button, which is the multi-lock / the main weapon. Multi-lock is really cool. It allows you to lock onto I think it's like 5 targets at max or 6, and you can shoot. I think it's 25. It was 50 or 25% damage at all the targets in a really fast pace, and if you can get a lot of good combos in with that. So I mean, it's very cool. And then you have your circle, which is your sub weapon, which is usually machine guns, like the Vulcan machine guns on the side of the head right here. Right there, you can see the 2 little barrels. Is usually what the circle button does. And then you have your triangle button, which is hand-to-hand combat, which is either beam saber or heat claw or heat axe. Various melee weapons in the game. There's the heat saber too from the the Rickdoms. The X is thruster, but if you hit X twice and then hit a direction, you'll do a barrel roll in a certain direction, which helps from avoiding missiles and such. L1 will lock on target, and L2 will cancel the lock, and then start and select. Should be fairly straightforward. So yep, and but yeah, some things about this game that are really awesome is, like I mentioned before, it has a ton of content in there, and what I mean by that is, it has 4 different kinds of story modes. Well, I would 3 main story modes, and then there's like 4 pseudo 4, which is like a bunch of little story modes. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, if you play it, you'll understand what I mean. But the main storyline, which is the actual, which this game is titled after, is the original Gundam series. They made into a movie back late 80s, early or something. I think it's in the 80s was when they made the encounters in space. But basically what they did is they took the original Gundam series and made it into 3 different movies. They added and took away different things, but the cool thing about this is you play, basically you play the entire story after Amuro goes into space, which is pretty much the rest of the duration of the show, actually. So, but yeah, and you actually have the option to play the TV version or the movie version, and each version has different scenes in it, so you get to see both scenes. So there's like, if you play through one, and then you play through the other, you'll have a slightly different experience, which is kind of cool. So I mean, it gives you a little bit more replay value on the first story mission. But the first story mission is by far what makes this game so amazing. You get a really good feel for what the original Gundam series is about, and basically it's a ton of fun. The second story mode inside Gundam Encounters in Space is the Thoroughbred, which is actually a story mode based not on the anime, but there's a fan-made manga, or whatever you want to pronounce. And basically what they did is they took that, and just for this game, they animated a couple scenes that would be from the manga, and they animated it for the cutscenes in this game, which is pretty cool. So that means you'll see some exclusive Gundam footage that you won't see anywhere else in this game. And the Thoroughbred missions are almost as long as the main story mode, but not quite. So I mean, very cool, and you have custom mobile suits that you don't have anywhere else in there, which is very cool. Then your third story mode, which is a create a character story mode, where you basically start off and create your own character in either the Zeon or the Federation armies, and you go through the ranks of the lowest rank up until the highest rank, which it basically follows the same storyline as the first one, except you basically just a grunt at first, and then you become an ace pilot at the end, which is pretty cool. In my personal opinion, and the create a character mode, the Zeon, is much more fun. And then you have the fourth one, which is hero mode, or I can't remember what it's actually called off the top of my head, but it's they're not very long, but you have it's a mission mode. I think I said page 12. No, that mission mode is the create a character. Okay, but anyways, as you beat the different story modes in the game, like if you beat all of the main story mode, you will unlock like 3 or 4 characters, like Char Aznable, the Black Tri-Star, and such like that. And then if you play Thoroughbred, you'll unlock different like secondary characters from the Thoroughbred missions. I can't remember their names, but you unlock the secondary one, which is like there's another Gundam pilot. There's 2 Gundam pilots from Thoroughbred. There's the red one, and then there's a blue one. And I think you unlock the blue one by completing the actual mission. So, and then for the create a character, I mean, you unlock, I think, one extra character from the create a character stuff from each army. But once you do all that, you get to go into this like hero mode. I can't remember. Well, it's not hero mode. It's like a hero game type, and you have a list of characters, and you can play mini missions from each character, and you can play it from their point of view, which is awesome. So like you can play the original story as Char Aznable. Char Aznable has the longest hero mode in here. So I mean, there's like 4 different game types in here that are just story missions, and they're all equally fun. But I still prefer the main story mission because it gives you the full Gundam experience, and it's very good. And once you complete all that, you still have the option to do a versus split screen where you can play any of the mobile suits that you've unlocked, and there's a couple mobile suits that you can only play in versus mode, which is basically the Gundam Seed. I think there's one from Gundam Seed. There's Master Gundam from Gundam G, and then there's also the Burning Gundam from Gundam G. There's Custom Wing Zero from Gundam Wing, and then there's also Tall Geese 3, which is from Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. And what else is there? But yeah, and in versus mode, you can either play against a friend and split screen, or you can play the computer, which is awesome. And when you go through all the missions, you also unlock various versus level missions, which is great. It has a ton of replay value, and that is mainly why it's my favorite PlayStation 2 game. And this still, in my personal opinion, is the best Gundam game that they have ever made to date. That's just my personal opinion. I got so much. I played this so much. I didn't even. Okay, when I first found this game, I didn't actually own it. I mean, as you can see, I bought it used. But I first got this game when I first played this game when it first came out, because I've always been a big Gundam fan. I went to the family video and I had like enough for one game. I was looking through, and there's this new Gundam game, which is this game. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I got that. I came home and played it, and I only had beat the first story mission because I had to return it after that, and I played that so much. And then like a couple years later, well, I got this 2 years ago now, I think, and I still think it's worth what I paid for it. I mean, it's got so much replay value. I mean, I've beat this game like 3 or 4 times now, and every single mission too. I mean, it's a great game. Definitely recommend checking it out. You can probably pick it up way cheaper than I got it, and it's worth every dollar you spend on it. It has so much value for what it's worth, and it's just overall a great game. Graphics actually held up pretty well. I mean, you can see right there. They're basically 3D graphics, and I should probably mention what the gameplay is like. I mean, I've just been going on about story mode, but the gameplay is kind of like basically, if you've played Armored Core, it's basically like the flying mechanic, but all the time, and it's like that in some areas, but like most of the time that's what it's like. But there's a couple instances in the main story mode and Thoroughbred where it's basically like Star Fox kind of steady progression shooting. So I mean, it has a little bit of both of those, but it's still a great game. I mean, that's it. I can't really say anything else, but you guys, if you have a PS2, I definitely recommend going to pick this up because it is a great game. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you want to see more reviews like this in the future, leave a thumbs up, a comment, or something, and I'll do that. And if you want, in the comments below, tell me if you want to see some gameplay of this, because I'll be more than happy to put up some gameplay of this. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.